Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. We are just 5 days, 23 hours, 24 minutes away from kickoff against the Texans. And guys, if you don't think that this game this week was important, well, you just really don't know what you're talking about. While I get setting up on the live stream, let's go to our quarterback and listen to the post-game conference, where it was definitely a lot nicer, a lot better than what we had last week. Hopefully it'll play.
Recover, get it out of bounds, keep that alive. You didn't look like you flinched the least little bit moving down for that winning field goal.
Yeah, I mean, we're prepared for that. It's something we do every week. I can't say that necessarily we fumble the ball and we have to go and get it like that and make that happen, be able to throw it away. But yeah, we practiced that all week long. Team went out there, just executed. Coach Linehan dialed them up and got the win.
You talk about the long throw to Elliott on that final drive, and just over the course of the day, being able to take a few more shots downfield than you have lately.
Yeah, just coverage they're giving us. So when you go man-to-man, and we like our matchups, and right there, especially at the end, you got Zeke on a linebacker. We're going to take that matchup any day of the week. Doesn't matter who the linebacker is. So, yeah, we got in that spread out set, and knew we had that matchup. It was a chance we wanted to take, and Zeke did a great job getting open and just getting down the field.
Did you know the second you saw them line up with the linebacker over Zeke that that's where you're going?
Yeah, pretty much.
How big was this win for this team?
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. It's what we needed. I mean, 2-2 is much better than 1-3, and it was going offensively, and just be able to go down there and win that game on that last drive. Just moving forward and momentum that we can take from this game and carry on.
Talk about the offensive line's work today. Zeke getting over 150 yards.
Yeah, he did a great job. They set the tone to the game. Way there in the fourth quarter, we're just wearing down that defense, wearing them down up front. As you said, Zeke running hard as he always does, and credit to the receivers coming in, making blocks on safeties, blocking down the field, allowing some of those short yard runs to turn into big plays. So it was just a great day from the offense.
Wrinkles were added.
Nah, I can't say one was, but I don't really know if we had any new wrinkles. We just executed a lot better.
Three tight end work today.
Say again?
Why did the three tight end setup work for you today? More so today.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, it's just it was the matchup that we liked. We know our guys, our tight ends, they're gonna be in that defense they're in with the backers, and we liked it. We were able to run a lot out of that formation and out of that set. Just getting our our tight ends to the second level on those linebackers and allowing some of those runs, Zeke to bust with nobody even touching them till later down the field.
They had the worst run defense in the league. Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. You were talking about the wrinkles, and people on the outside are talking about creativity. But do you cut through all that and just go, it's about production and execution? It really doesn't matter if we're doing something new or different. It's just...
Yeah, it's how we execute it. I mean, I said that Thursday when you interviewed me. I said that it doesn't matter what plays Coach Linehan calls. It's on us to execute them. And he's going to call a play that there's answers to in every coverage and every situation. So we just did a better job tonight executing than we have these 3 games before.
Did you need this for your confidence?
Nah, I mean, I know what I can do, and I know the player that I am. And I never waver, and I'm never going to get down on myself. All of us have good days and bad days, and if all of us were judged by our bad days at our jobs, then we'd all be in trouble. So not at all.
What did you like most about Zeke's performance today?
I mean, just any way you got him the ball, any way he had the ball in his hands.
All right, everybody, welcome into the show. I've got both chats going here. Welcome to everybody who's watching on Vimeo. Welcome to everybody who's watching on YouTube. Guys, it's probably going to be quiet in here tonight. I don't think we're going to have quite as many trolls as we usually do, and it's okay. I am happy for once that finally I don't have to be defending. And I know there's going to be a few idiots in here that are going to say, Dak, well, you know, it wasn't Dak. It was Zeke. That's right. Zeke ended up throwing the ball to himself for that 33-yard completion. Now, here's the thing. But before we get into everything else, let me go ahead and let you guys know We're doing the tailgate at FedEx Field, okay? We're going to be in lot orange. I was actually talking to this guy named Mark, believe it or not, from FedEx Field, from the Redskins and stuff. And we can actually get a package deal with tickets. So if you want to go to the Redskin game and you don't have tickets, what we can actually do is we can get a section together. That's right, because they have a lot of tickets that are left over because nobody goes to see the Washington Redskins. Now, if you want to be in the upper deck, it's like 160, 165, or if we want to be in the lower deck, it's about 215, which is not bad because there's no fees and stuff. They take an extra $15 off, but we have to have 10 or more people together. So we're going to be doing the tailgate. I've already got like 30-some people that have said that they want to be there. And I've got another 120 total who are interested. So we're talking about 80 pounds of chicken wings. We're talking about 5 pork butts. We're talking about the black and blue sliders as well as the bang bang shrimp and stuff. So if you are interested and you are a Facebook person, go to Cowboy Jobu or Jobu Sports Report. And go ahead, and the event is in there. Go ahead and like the event and let me know if you want to go, if you're interested, or email me at cowboysmark94@gmail if you are definitely interested in doing going and sitting together at the game. That's not a bad deal. $200 and some odd dollars, $215 for NFL game, lower level, Cowboys, Redskins, and I'll try and make sure we're on the Cowboy side. So with that being said, my quarterback, my teammate, and if you talk about him, is unfair. All right. I am not going to say Dak is perfect. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to say is Dak Prescott is young. Dak needs to work on his mechanics, his reads, holding on to the ball, and his pocket awareness. I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. But here's what I want you to understand, because everybody just says, he's a bum, we need another quarterback. You know, the 49ers said that last year. We need a quarterback. So they spent $100 million to get Jimmy Garoppolo, a second-round pick, and then paid him $100 million. And he's gone 4 weeks into the season. The Arizona Cardinals said, we need a quarterback. So they paid $20 million for Sam Bradford, who wasn't even active yesterday. Wasn't even active on the active roster. You got the New York stinking Giants with 2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning, who should have taken a quarterback this year, that are probably thinking, we need a quarterback. Tampa Bay, for 2 games into the season, thought they had some magic with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then the magic ran out. So if we say, let's start over a quarterback, let's get rid of Dak, let's move up in the draft and get a guy, well, we tried to move up to get Paxton Lynch. Glad we dodged that bullet. You can move up, you might get a Jamarcus Russell. There's no guarantees with quarterbacks. But I'm going to say this about Dak Prescott, okay? Dak doesn't like to make mistakes. And that goes a long way because, see, I know everybody wants to see us slinging the ball 400 yards down the field and everything else, taking risks, being a gunslinger and things. But here's the reality. The reality is turnovers are game changers. Understand this. Dak Prescott, in games that he's thrown at least 1 touchdown pass and no interceptions, he is 18-0. 18-0. That's one hell of a record. That ties him with Tom Brady, Drew Brees, those kind of guys. I'm going to tell you another thing. Dak has played 37 games in his short career. 37 games, but we've won 24 of them. Dak Prescott is the only year back-to-back that Jason Garrett has had winning seasons. It's a fact. Tony Romo never had back-to-back ones. If this one ends up being, is Jobu gay? No, chicks dig Jobu, but if you want to say that one, whatever. In his short 37 games, he's had 10 games with fourth quarter comebacks. That's pretty good. Yesterday, you could have looked at that game and said, you know what? We could have lost it. 2 minutes, 13 seconds, we got to go down the field, get a field goal. Poised in the pocket. Didn't let the stage up get him. And here's the thing. There's a hostile crowd in Dallas. You got so many fans in Dallas that are ready to tar and feather him, that are happy to see him fail. He got no love last week. If you looked at anything on social media, anything, believe me, they were roasting the guy. I'm not saying that he's Aaron Rodgers right now, but understand, right now, he's costing you less than $1 million a year. Sam Bradford's not even active on his team, costing them $20 million. Now, what you as a team need to do is, you need to take care of this investment, this small investment. You need to put the best coaching around him to make him successful. Because let's make no mistake about it. The difference between this week and last week were we didn't have Zeke stepping out of bounds. We didn't have Zeke fumbling. We didn't have all the sacks that we gave up last week. We didn't have the costly penalties. Those mistakes were game changers, because you can look at the numbers and say, well, Dak just sucked. But if you take everything in total, you look at all the things that happened that didn't go right. The offensive line didn't block as well. The wide receivers weren't getting open. Zeke goes out. Dak's throwing things around. You take those things, everybody plays just a little bit better, you get a better performance. And I know. Everybody's already saying, well, it's only the Lions. You're supposed to beat the Lions. Yeah, you're true. You're supposed to beat the Lions. But so were the Patriots last week supposed to beat the Lions. Tom Brady, you would figure, would throw for more than 133 yards. And the fact that Dak Prescott got 255 against the Lions, which were rated number one against the pass, speaks volumes. Now, I won't say that Zeke Elliott running good didn't help. It did, because that's the identity of this offense. You notice when Zeke Elliott is running, how you can roll out because everybody's going after Zeke Elliott? He's getting out there and he can hit one-on-one coverage to a Cole Beasley or a Michael Gallup. When he's not under distress because the line's not blocking, he can pick out guys when he's got enough time to stand there. Okay, this guy's open. These are differences of playing well versus running for your life. The jury, of course, is still out on Dak Prescott. All I'm saying is if you're going to let this guy go and make a huge investment for somebody else, you better first make sure you've invested everything you can to make sure he can't succeed. Don't hate on Jobu. It's okay. Believe me, I get tons of hate. Sorry. Let's get open for business here. And actually, let's get Jobu his refill. After yesterday, we're going to give him a little coconut rum today. After yesterday, man, I just didn't know what to do with myself because it had been so bad. Listening to all of the trolls. And you notice, has anybody seen an Eagle fan yet? Anybody? How you doing, DT Taylor? Dante Shrugs, how you doing tonight over here on Vimeo? I see Last Jedi. I see Cam. Oh, Cam. Oh, hi, dude. I see Corey. I see Jacob Garrett. I see Alex. I see Eric. I see Raymond. I see Ivan. Where's Miss Jackie and Sarah? I see Old Cash. Man, I could use some old cash. I'll take some new cash even. I see Cool Arrow. Dustin Dew. I see Eric. 8706. I can't be perking. Andrew. There's Sarah. How you doing, Sarah? Produced by Germ. Jamal, Connecticut Cowboys. What's up, Connecticut Cowboys? Sorry, I forgot to call you back after the show last week. Omar, Kevin, Raymond. Welcome, everybody, to the Jobu Sports Report. Brian from SoCal. Jobu's got his refill. What's up, everybody? Doesn't it feel good to get a win? Yeah, D.D. Taylor, Falcons Nation. Yeah. You know, it was funny. He actually emailed me before the game and said, I think the Cowboys can get a win. But you may not see him on here too much tonight. Now, he told me to take it easy and enjoy the win, but don't make a fool of myself. I said, oh, you mean like you? Where's the Giant fan? Yeah, the Giant fan, well, you know, he was still in our Cowboys conglomerate, still talking trash, you know, still saying it's a long season. You know, there's still 12 games left. Okay. I said, it's lonely down in the basement, isn't it, for you Giants fans? But just like I told you, if they start losing, they're like cockroaches. All of those Eagle fans that were in here just bloviating, as Stephen A. Smith would say, about how good they were, how easy everything's going to be. They may end up turning around and winning the division. That's possible and going to the playoffs. But it's not as easy as they thought it was going to be, is it? It really isn't. It's hard to repeat. It's hard to be good from one week to the next, much less from one season to the next. No, brethren. Yeah, you know, I'm going to have to email him and troll his ass a little bit. Because, see, that is, I don't want to say that's being a punk. But, see, if you're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk. I'm here every day. You guys know, no matter how bad it is, I'm here defending my Dallas Cowboys. I love my Cowboys. Now, the good thing with our team, sorry, I had brain fart here. I think I celebrated a little bit too much last night. The good thing with our team is we got Sean Lee, of course, dealing with his hamstrings. We've got Zach Martin, of course, dealing with, you know, that syndrome and stuff. We don't know if he'll be able to come back this season or not. But for the most part, this team has been healthy. While most teams right now are losing guys, right now we got the conundrum of who are we going to let go? David Irving, the man-child, has to be seeing everything that's going on with this team and wants to probably go out there. Thank you very much, Kivo. I appreciate it, man. You know he wants to go out there and get some. When your team is doing well, you want to get out there and you want to play. You want to be part of it. And I got to tell you, I think David Irving, seeing the team and that defense coming around, wants to get out there and be part of this. And it'll be a great infusion of talent. Now, I don't know how much he's going to have. The good news is he's been working with the team for the last 3 weeks. Now, I'm kind of confused on that myself because I thought technically he wasn't able to be with the team or have contact with the team until basically today. But the rules are different. That's actually practicing. But he's been able to be with the training staff and working out for the last 3 weeks. And he's been doing this paleo diet. And, you know, paleo diet is basically hunter and gatherer. So if you went back 1,000 years, basically whatever you could shoot and kill or whatever you could pick off the trees or and things like that is what you're eating, okay? There ain't no hamburgers from McDonald's. There ain't no Hot Pockets, okay? It's fresh meat, fresh vegetables, and fruits. And he's down to 290 pounds, which is about the ideal weight for him. You know, he's another one of those prototypical Dallas Cowboy likes for defensive ends and defensive linemen. They like him tall, and they like him lean, and they like him fast. If he's anywhere near what he did last year in those 8 games where he got 7 sacks, you put him in there in a rotation with Taco, because Taco is coming on. You know, all those people last year were talking about Taco's a bust. Mark, don't say cool. Arrow is bad in Spanish. Okay, I didn't know that, but I appreciate that. You can't send those Vikings fans. Okay. But we get him added to our defense. While other teams are losing players, we're getting a guy that got 7 sacks coming back on this team. That's going to be a scary defensive line. You can look at that defensive line, without a doubt, it's a top 5. And I dare say that they could end up, by the end of the year, being the best defensive line in football. Now, how good is it when you go through and you look at NFL stats? And when you look at them, you see Zeke Elliott leading in rushing. And you see DeMarcus Lawrence leading in sacks. Two guys at the top of the game. Zeke Elliott, it's not even close. Zeke Elliott has almost 100 yards more than Todd Gurley with 6 less carries. And if you take a look at the first 2 games, he didn't really even get started. That's how dominant he has gotten right now. And I was talking about this, and I got a bunch of giant trolls that basically told me I'm an idiot, because that's what they always do. They tell me I'm an idiot. Because I was talking about, remember when ESPN did their top 10, 25 and under? And they ended up saying that Todd Gurley, and they listed Barkley. They didn't put Zeke, although, no, they said runner-up, Zeke Elliott. Yes, my man, I do read your comments on video, man. Yes, I read them. Don't worry, Wiley, I read them. So look, I got one eye over here on Vimeo. I got one eye over here on YouTube. So I do the best I can now. I'm old and I can't find my glasses. I lost them just like Jalen Smith lost his brace. He couldn't find it. So I have to go without it. So bear with me. But yes, I do read your comments over there. So, and yes, D.D. Taylor, I know it's a good point. I appreciate that. But I do the best I can, because it's hard, because there's a lot flying through with YouTube even here. But when you start looking at that defense, the things that concern me, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, lights out, playing for $100+ million, okay? I ain't mad at him. I'm hoping he gets to 16 sacks. You know, he's definitely. But go ahead, unblock Willie. We'll let Willie back in here, okay? Because especially since we got to win. Because I actually would like to confront Willie about Dak Prescott, because he said he can't throw a ball past 15 yards. So it's okay. You can unblock him. If he acts like a jackass, then you can block him again, okay? But he's actually, believe it or not, a moderator on Michael Anthony Fitness's channel. So he's not that bad. He's just annoying. And we have a lot of people that are annoying that we keep around. I mean, there's Jason Garrett, there's Scott Linehan. Oh, did I say that out loud? But what worries me about our defense is still safety. Safety scares the piss out of me. Safety, Jeff Heath reverted back. He went back to last year. He went back to bad angles and missed tackles. Xavier Woods is back. Right now, it's still kind of quiet. Kevon Frazier, you know, he's good. See, the thing to me with Jeff Heath is he's better in a limited role. When you have to have him out there every single play, he gets exposed. And I'm worried about that. And that's one of those reasons why I kept pounding the table. I kept talking too damn much about wanting to get Earl Thomas. He could have mentored those guys, got them better, give us another person in rotation, and teach them. But right now, you can't get him. You got a broken leg. And Seattle, well, you got nothing for him. Oh, I'm glad you're just kidding, DT Taylor. I appreciate that. I know you are, because you're here every time we do it on Vimeo. You are always there, and I appreciate the support. Yeah, so, well, Earl Thomas is not an option for this year. Now, in a way, for him just to have a broken bone, that's easy. That's not like an ACL or things like that, you know, where it's a soft tissue tear where you got to rebuild an ACL. He'll be back next year without having a whole lot of miles, and he's still getting paid. So, in a way, it's kind of like, yeah, I can understand giving the finger, because, hey, I'm still going to get paid. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not going to have to deal with you guys anymore, so F off. So I understand this feeling. Oh, Falcons Nation. He hopes me and the Cowboys enjoy this little week of fame. Falcons Nation, what do you know about fame? Oh, I forgot. You are famous for being the biggest Super Bowl letdown of all time. The biggest choke job ever. Yeah, so I forgot. We're not that famous. But shout out to you for at least manning up and being here with your team playing like garbage, unlike the cockroaches that are the Eagles and Giant fans that are showing up. But it's okay. It's all good. Falcons blow. Well, Eric Reed, unfortunately, he's gone as well. And that makes me wonder, is Colin Kaepernick going to get a job? Because, now that they finally kind of, okay, we've got the first guy in, there's not a whole lot of this, that, and the other on it. Okay. I'll call you back, buddy. So maybe Colin Kaepernick gets a job. Who knows? It's just, NFL's crazy. So I'm worried about safety. I'm also still worried about Anthony Brown. Every time Anthony Brown seems like he's finally getting things going, he gets a little bit of spotlight on him, then all of a sudden, boom, he gave up a big play. So those are the things that are my concern, but as long as you've got a pass rush, as long as you can put pressure on the quarterback, as long as the quarterback doesn't have a lot of time, then it helps your cornerbacks and helps your safeties. So hopefully with David Irving in there, we can keep up that pressure and hopefully don't get our cornerbacks and safeties exposed. But I got to tell you, did you see Chris Richard go off? There's my buddy Cowboys Crunk. How are we doing tonight? Chase the GOAT. We need to get rid of Anthony Brown. But here's the problem getting rid of him, okay? We don't have anybody else really there. So you kind of have to see and work what you can. It's amazing to me because everybody always says, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy. Like, you can just automatically pull somebody in who's going to ultimately be better. There's not a lot of people out there that can do what these players do. So you got to understand, you've got to make the best of what you have. You got to take a guy, because a lot of you guys said get rid of Byron Jones before. But they worked with him, they found out what works well with him, and made him a better player. And that's what you got to do with these guys. And that's where coaching comes in. Now, the reason why this offense also worked too was they did some different stuff. First of all, thank God. I was so happy when we were kicking the damn ball off. Did anybody else kind of go, I feel like a victory's coming just because we were kicking off? Because it seems like every single game that we play, that we take the ball first and don't score. The end of the half, the other team has the ball. Defense gets tired, and then they get the ball to start the second half. So we literally have our offense sitting for most of the the second quarter, the halftime, and then late into the third quarter. And it just seems like they're not balanced. The defense is worn out, and then the other team can go off. To me, what you're hoping for is that the defense does a 3 and out, you get the ball in good field position, and then you go down and score. But getting the ball in the second half, if your team is able to adjust to have the ball, hopefully at the end of the first half, and get the ball in the second half, to me is an advantage. So I felt great about that. And then, of course, we did play action. We pushed the ball downfield. And we did some no huddle at the end of the game. The reason why Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott, why that worked so good, is because they've never done it before. If you looked at the graphic of where every pass play that Zeke Elliott has gotten, it's been 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage or no more than 5 yards. Nobody's expecting the Cowboys to throw 33 yards downfield to Zeke Elliott. And that's what you have to do in football. You have to get mismatches. And you get Zeke Elliott on a linebacker, I'll take that every day. I don't care who's out there. I'll take that every single day. That's why this offense worked, because it was more unpredictable. What is my profession? I am a carpenter, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. So take that as it will. Big Country, actually, it's $19.5 million under the cap. Actually, if you don't do anything with it, it rolls over to next year. That's money you have on top of next year. So that's actually a good thing that we haven't spent that, because we're going to need that eventually. Definitely going to need to pay the man-child, DeMarcus Lawrence. Last year doesn't look like it was a fluke. He's leading the NFL with 5.5 sacks and is looking pretty much unstoppable. 3 sacks yesterday. So, I mean, what more does he have to prove? Calvin Williamson, thank you very much for the super chat. Did I see the little Trayvon Austin blocking guys twice the size for Zeke? Yeah. You know, and that's also another one of the differences of this week, too. You had everybody basically blocking. And did you see Joe Looney? Joe Looney on that big run play of Zeke Elliott, he was downfield with Zeke. He was sucking wind. He was tired, but he was all out. And you've got to look and see, he's been getting better and better every week. Connor Williams did a piss poor block, let the defensive lineman get under him and everything else, gave up a sack and stuff. He's got a lot of work and stuff to do, but the offensive line truly played a lot better against the Lions. And I know a lot of people will say, well, it's just the Lions. Well, okay, all right, whatever. What concerns me also on the offense, though, is you saw the tight ends playing better, you saw the wide receivers playing better, getting open, you saw Dak Prescott pushing the ball downfield, you saw Zeke Elliott going off. But what concerns me is, and I meant to do a video about this, but I just didn't have enough time by the time I got home, is we still have coaching issues. You'll remember, or maybe you won't remember, and this is deja vu for you, Falcon fan, because it's almost identical situation. We had a 3rd down and 18, I believe, on our 35-yard line. Okay? 3rd down and 18, 35-yard line. I think we were up by 6 points. I may be wrong. That was in the first half. But I need to go back through Game Pass and look at it. But at that point, you look at that and say, okay, it's 3rd and 18. The chances of getting that first down aren't good. But what you want to do is to make sure that you can stay in range for a field goal. And sometimes in that situation, you need to look at it and say, okay, let's go ahead and pick up a few positive yards, even if it's a swing pass out to Zeke. Even if it's a swing pass out to Zeke, let him run, try and pick up 3, 4, 5 yards, make it an easier field goal. Or if you're going to pass, you got to make sure you pound it in your quarterback's head. Dak, if nothing is there, you've got to get rid of the damn ball. You cannot take a sack in this situation. You cannot get us out of field goal range. And you can look back, for you, Falcons Nation, if you're still here, at the Super Bowl, the Falcons were up by 6 points. The Falcons were up by 6 points. I know, Bosh, it was only the Lions. But you know what? It's the NFL. Anybody can beat you. And the same Lions beat New England last week. So it's a start. It's a start. Okay? And they have a really good pass defense. So don't get in here starting some no crap. In fact, I figured, Boss, you would be in here saying, see, players executed the game plan. It's not Jason Garrett, because we know you were in the tank for Jason Garrett. Don't make me start being like the 80% on you now, Vosh. Don't make me do that. But we ended up taking a sack and getting that knocked out of field goal range. And I was sitting here thinking that whole time, I was like, okay, is this 3 points going to come back and bite us in the ass? Because the Falcons were in the same situation. First down on the 35-yard line. They set up for pass. Matty Ice gets sacked, takes them out of field goal range. They got to keep passing. They end up punting the ball to New England, who drives the length of the field, ties up the score, and they lose the game. And that was the one I was thinking, that's a mistake from the coaching. You got a young quarterback. This is still only his 3rd season. As much as you guys want to think that he has been around for years like a Tom Brady and everything else, thank you, Bobby, for the super chat. I appreciate it. You've got to be the one that's got to be in his ear and say, listen, you cannot take a sack. If it's not there, get rid of it, or just run the ball. We got to stay in field goal range. That kind of thing concerns me. So we still have some work to do on coaching. But I'm very proud that they moved the ball around. I'm happy that we executed. To me, all around, that was a better game, and it's something to build on. And yes, Vosh, it is just the Lions. But you know what? We got the Texans this week. If we can go through against the Texans, we go through with the Texans, win the Texas Bowl, and get a victory, it's big. It's huge. You got the Giants who are being Giants. Now, I don't know if you're one of the 80% Voshes or if you're the real deal Vosh. I got out there and whop you for talking to me like that. Garrett is a mastermind and needs an extension. Oh, yeah, you okay. Oh, I tell you what, Vosh, if that is the real Vosh, and I think it's not the real Vosh. I can't see the icon there. This is a prove-it year for Jason Garrett. Because here's the reality on Jason Garrett, for everybody who doesn't know. He's got this year and next year on the contract. You do not have a coach come back without another year after that. You don't have him on the final year of a contract. So you have to either pay the man or you fire him. Flat out. You either have to give him at least another year extension on his contract or you got to fire him. So if you look at the season and it ends up being 500, you end up having the same issues that you had before, then you have to let him go. If your team goes through, competes, makes it to the playoffs, maybe wins a playoff game, then you say, okay, we're still okay, and you hold on to them, maybe. Although I've seen other teams go to the Super Bowl, fire the coach, and end up having another guy come in and get him there. So Jason Garrett, I don't know about giving an extension, but I personally believe we've had enough time for Jason Garrett to turn over the roster, to get his kind of guys and things like that, and go with his philosophy, or should I say Jerry Jones's philosophy. Come on, Ken, man. Don't be like that with Vosh, man. Jason Garrett's happy with 8-8 seasons. You know what? I got to tell you, for the most part, at press conferences, he's still the same. But looking at him on the sidelines, he's not as much of the clapper as he used to be. He looks a little more intense. Still didn't say anything to Randy Gregory when he had that boneheaded penalty where he pushed the guy in the head with an official right behind him. Just kind of looked at him like, okay. But he seems a little bit more intense. I could be wrong. Garrett's got to go unless he takes us to the Super Bowl. Okay. Jerry believes Dak can help us win. Well, here's the thing. If you support Dak, if you have a good enough defense, if you can keep your team healthy, anything is possible. Look at the NFL right now. Right now, there's one undefeated team, the Rams. One. It's week to week. The Eagles came through from the Super Bowl. They ain't the same team. The Redskins are technically in the lead, and Lord knows they were talking a whole lot of smack today, you know, that we the best team in the division and stuff. But do you really believe in the Washington Redskins? Look at the NFC North. The Vikings, they ain't the same team that everybody thought they were going to be. The Packers, a little bit better. They played, got a victory yesterday. But Aaron Rodgers is still on one leg. You don't know how long that leg's going to hold up. You got the Bears, actually look like the best team in that division. Other than, oh my God, you are okay. You're not the real Vox Lombardi, because you're an idiot. Dak only improved this much because of Garrett. Whoever you are literally trying to get some attention, and you're going to get it. 2016, Dak Prescott came here with what he had. He had a Mark Sanchez and a Tony Romo whispering in his ear. Jason Garrett didn't have enough time to put the stank on him. You saw what happened to him his second year after having Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett. He started going downhill and continued going downhill, and he still has a ways still to go back up. I look at Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan, and I ask, Please tell me one quarterback who got better underneath either of them, because I can't find one. Tony Romo, he learned everything from Bill Parcells and Sean Payton. It was not from Jason Garrett. Block County and Watt, and we have to win because we got the Jags next. No, actually, well, yeah, we got the Jags, but listen, you can't win them all. But if we can get a win against the Texans, you've got the Jags at home, and then you got the Redskins, and then you got the Titans. So you still have an opportunity to be in good position. And the good thing, like what I always try and do is this. I like to look at the season in 4 games increments. What you got to do is you got to have 2 of those 4-game windows where you go 3-1, and you can have 2 of them that you go 2-2. Well, we got a 2-2, so somewhere else we got to get 2 3-1s. I don't know if you guys have looked at our schedule really hard, but I got to tell you, looking at December actually looks a lot better than what it may have looked before, because I'm having a brain fart because I can't remember exactly. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. I keep everything in my head, but sometimes it just like overflows and it's just too much. But our December could be really, really good for us. One, because we're young, hopefully these guys will be able to stay healthy and stay on the field. That's one of the advantages of being one of the youngest teams in the NFL. And make no mistake, part of the problem with our team is because they're so young. So it's one of those great things. Okay, so our next 4 games, we have the Texans with 1 victory, the Jags, which are really good, played the Redskins, where we've won the last 4 straight, and then we got the Tennessee Titans at home. Then the toughest stretch I will say that we have is the next stretch, which is the Eagles, the Falcons, the Redskins, and the Saints. The Redskins, I still don't believe in. The Falcons, their defense is beat up. They are giving up tons and tons of points and all that, so who knows. The Eagles aren't the same team, and the Eagles and the Cowboys, we always seem to kind of split. You know, they get one, we get one type of a deal. New Orleans at home, New Orleans is always tough. But then the Final 4, this is the thing that may be the great thing for us. We have the Eagles at home. We play against the Colts. We play at home against Tampa Bay, and then we play at New York. That's not a bad December. That is really not a bad December. And in fact, when you look at that schedule, the toughest games you see on there, and anybody can beat you. I know anybody can beat you. But you look at the Jags, that's going to be rough. You got the Eagles twice, the Falcons, and the Saints. All the other ones, to me, are possibly winning games. So what we want to do from here is we want to take on what we did good, try and build on it. You started passing the ball around to people. Keep on doing that. You want to keep on feeding Zeke. Get him to about 24, 25 carries. You want to do play action. You want to mix things up by doing some no huddle. Defense, I don't know what we're going to do with safety. There ain't nobody we're going to be able to find at this point to get for a safety. But keep that pass rush up. And I think this team has as good a chance as anybody else out there. And as much as everybody's been saying we're only going to win 5 games, I'm going to stick by my 11-5 prediction. Jags going to be tough. Oh, we know the Jags going to be tough. But again, any given Sunday, whatever, Falcons fan. Okay. Eagles will be an easy win. I don't know about that one. Division games are always tough, Boomer Center. How you doing tonight, Jackie? Glad to see you in the house. Yeah, well, they'll be tougher when they do get healthy. The question is, will they get healthy? Yeah, in Philly, Phil, you're right. There are no safeties that are out there. Well, if we go 6-2 at home, I'd be happy because that would be a better record than the 3-5 we had last year. Without a doubt. Again, division games, throw out the records. Division games, you know each other. It's a grudge match and things. You know, it's always a tough game. You know, look at the Giants. As bad as they were, those were some of the toughest games that the Eagles had last year. What's happening, Edwin? How you doing? There was a comment here. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find it. Well, yeah, you're right. Everybody did. You know, a lot of people picked Detroit because they kept saying, "Oh, passing defense, they're great. They're not going to be able to pass, and they're going to shut down Zeke 8 minutes." Yeah, okay. But that's the great thing about football. It's unpredictable. Without a doubt, the run pass was better, and I'll say the execution was better too. So it seems like everybody kind of took it under their thing to make sure that they played a little bit better, and I think everybody did. The offensive line blocked better. The tight ends caught the ball and got open. The wide receivers made better plays. The quarterback played better. Everybody on the offense played better. Now, hopefully, it's something to build on. Well, and here's the other thing too. Now, while we're looking at the teams we're playing, you're looking at the Eagles have a tough stretch here. The Eagles play Minnesota, and Minnesota right now is playing for their lives. So Minnesota, you got to look at that as desperation for them. They're going to be looking to try and, if they lose that one, they're going to be just about out of it. The Redskins play the Saints on Monday Night Football, which they never play well on Monday Night Football, in New Orleans, and that's going to be a tough game. The Eagles have the Vikings, they have the Giants, they have the Panthers, and then the Jaguars. That's a pretty rough stretch coming up for them. Eagles, Giants, Panthers, Jaguars. So you're looking at them, you know, we could win a couple of these games. They could lose a couple of them. All of a sudden it starts looking a little bit different than what it did before. I'm getting these text messages about Dez. Thoughts and prayers to Cowboys Crunk. Question is, do I think if they release Terrence Williams that they'll bring Dez back? The way the offense played yesterday, I don't think there's quite as much urgency because they haven't even tried playing Bryce Butler yet. And I don't think the only way you can bring Dez back to me is you've got to get rid of Linehan. And I don't think they're going to get rid of Linehan during the season. He will be the fall guy for Jason Garrett. Zeke is a little bit banged up. He hurt his ankle a little bit and his knee a little bit, but he should be good to go. Fishful, true. The Rams do look devastating right now, but sometimes you peak a little early. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate that. Is Buck on my taxes? No, I could use a tax break, though. We have a record Cowboys fans. Don't say anything until you beat us. Wait a minute. We have record Cowboys fans that don't say anything until y'all beat us when it actually matters. Well, listen, D, I'm always talking about y'all. So don't say it's me because you know, I even when you guys beat us, I'm still talking. Brian, David Irving is practicing tomorrow. We're talking about David Irving's practice this week. He's been working out with the team for the last 3 weeks. He's down to 290 pounds, looking like he's hungry. Okay, he's been on a diet, a paleo diet, and he's hungry just like everybody else. So he will be back in the lineup this week. The big question is, who's going to get released so he has a space? That's the biggest question right there. Could it be Terrence Williams, or will it be a no-name? I don't know, but inquiring minds definitely want to know. Mark Holmes didn't want Van Der Esch. Well, it was Wang. You just like trying to start some stuff, Wang Hugh, don't you? It wasn't so much that I didn't want Van Der Esch. It was more that I thought we might have gotten other picks. It was just a surprise. It was a shock more than anything else. And quite frankly, it looks like it was a good pick. He's already quietly with 27 tackles, I believe, right now. And, Sean Lee's been out the last 2 games, but unlike last year when Sean Lee went out, everything went south. So right now, you got to say he's a stud. He's a stud. And I have said that more times than not. So don't get in here trying to start stuff, because I told you guys, to me, we took what was a negative last year, and that was linebackers, and we made it a positive. We actually have a great rotation of linebackers right now. You got Joe Thomas that's in there as well. You got Van Der Esch. You've got, of course, Jalen Smith, who is being a beast. He's still missing a few things here and there and stuff, but he's still getting, really, this is really like his second year, getting his legs underneath him, but he's playing lights out. So, and Damian Wilson as well. So it's not that I haven't been talking about Van Der Esch. Van Der Esch is one of those guys that you don't think about. You miss him when he's not there, but you don't really think about him as much as, say, your cornerbacks or your Zeke Elliott and things. But no, he has been a stud. Are you happy now, Wang? Sheila, you're right. Very quietly making noise, Van Der Esch is. Who will spy on Watson, Jalen Smith, or Van Der Esch? I think it's going to be more Jalen. And one of the plays, it was great with Jalen Smith. And this is where we're giving so many different looks now on defense than we did before. What you had Jalen Smith get into the A gap like he was going to blitz. Ball snapped. He backed away for 2 steps, delayed, and then went. And he was able to put pressure up in the middle. DeMarcus Lawrence got the sack. But it's that way of closing and keeping that pocket. The difference with the Cowboys defense this year has been is they are collapsing the pocket. Sometimes you get great pressure on the outside, like when we had Jason Hatcher and DeMarcus Ware. We were getting great pressure on the outside, but the problem was we were soft in the middle, and the quarterback could step up and get away from the wash and could either take off or would have a great passing lane where he could see. Right now, we're actually collapsing the middle better, and you're getting that pressure from the outside from DeMarcus Lawrence, and it's just not giving that quarterback anywhere to go. And I am excited as can be that we got 14 sacks already on the season in 4 games. We keep that up, it's going to be one hell of a season. We'll be over 50 sacks for the season. Urlacher and Derek Brooks 2.0. Could be. Shingles, okay. Law, I agree with you. To me, Dak looks more comfortable when we go no huddle because he is calling his plays. Sometimes you'll see him come out of the huddle. He just does not look like he's feeling it. E2 Blue says he's fast. Okay. Well, I'm glad your son loves the show, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Crawford's been playing real well too. Definitely Cowboys crunk. Quietly, because you don't really notice him. You notice when he makes a mistake or when he gets injured. But again, the defense in general has been playing well. LA mental. Oh man, I'm not even going to answer that question. It's just a Super Bowl. Man, come on. A lot of times, the teams that you think are going to be in the Super Bowl are not the ones that go. And sometimes the team you think the least is the one that goes in there. Because I remember, I can't remember if it was the first, maybe it was the second to last Giants Super Bowl. You did not expect them to go in there, sneak into the playoffs, okay, in a season where literally every week it was like one play that they were able to get that changed the game, including ones that were mistakes by the referees that they shouldn't even have been in the playoffs, but ended up going to the Super Bowl and ended up beating the New England Patriots. Could they be? The Cowboys could be. Anybody could be at this point. But you got to see if everything falls in place. The schedule, if you play guys at the right time, if your team stays healthy, which is a big key, because sometimes you lose an offensive lineman, you lose a running back or a quarterback, all of a sudden your team is completely different. And what happens to the other teams? If Carson Wentz, like right now is the time to play the Eagles before Carson Wentz really gets all that rust off of him. He may be playing out of his mind the second half of the season. So when you play a team, you play them at the right time. So there's so many factors that go into it. I'd say, yeah, they could be, but they could also finish with a losing record. We just need better play from our offensive line and defensive line. Other than that, I have full confidence that Carson Wentz will shake off the rust. You know, it's kind of like, I'm trying to remember the coach that said it. Well, we couldn't block, we couldn't tackle, and we couldn't run the ball. But other than that, we played great. I think it was Jim McKay of Tampa Bay. But yeah, so, well, offensive line's not playing good, or defensive line, but other than that, we're great. Come on, man. If you can't get those two things together, you got problems. Thank you, Garcia. I appreciate it. Greetings back to South Texas. Titans put a foot, we got to show that. Titans put a foot in that Eagles' ass. You know what? North Carolina's best Cowboy fan. Yeah, that's one of those things that you don't hear jack about with is Mariota. Mariota is not a good quarterback, and he was the number 2 pick. And everybody talks about Dak like he's the only quarterback who's had some issues. But yeah, you know, a lot of people last year were saying they'd take Mariota over Dak, even though he was 13 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? We're going to work on the Texans, of course, later on in the week and stuff. We're still in the afterglow of the victory and post thoughts of the game, but we'll be breaking down the Texans and things in there. I got to tell you, Deshaun Watson, everybody thought he was going to be taking off where he left last year, but he does not look like the same guy at all. Jackie, Joe Looney played really well. He's not Travis Frederick, because those are some big shoes to fill, but right now, yesterday, he impressed the hell out of me. That would be interesting, Corey, if Travis Frederick comes back, move Joe Looney to Williams' spot. That's not a bad thought. Give Connor Williams a chance to kind of develop a little bit more. He hasn't done bad. It's just from time to time he loses his technique and just gets blown away. Get rid of Dak. Okay, Ryan, who you going to get? We'll come tomorrow. Who's going to play? Who's going to play? Where are you going to get a quarterback right now? I agree with you, Glenn. Safety play was awful. That's one of the reasons why I kept saying, get Earl Thomas. Get Earl Thomas. But didn't work out. Justin, I'll take that bet. Dak will definitely have more touchdown. We'll have more wins and TDs than Mariota. And Mariota was drafted the year before and was the number 2 pick. Trade him. Okay, I'm just going to ignore this. Whoever you are, Ryan, welcome to the show and all. I've never seen you here before, but yeah, definitely a troll. Trade him. Yeah, okay. Finally a win, but not you know what? In the NFL, a win is a win. Well, right now, there's a couple of teams I can think of that could use a quarterback. The return of Romo. Oh, my God. Can y'all just get off of the... Romo is not coming back. Gee. With that note, I was going to go into bonus time, but... y'all pulling out the Romo stuff, it's time to go. before I say something the haters are coming out now. You know what? It was good to sit there and enjoy the game. It was incredible to come in here tonight without the negativity until the end here. Football is unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen from week to week, from quarter to quarter. That's one of the reasons why we love football so much, okay? And anybody who swears that they know that Dak is going to be good or going to be bad, you just don't know. You're a liar. Nobody knows. Tampa Bay didn't think Steve Young was worth his weight, and they let him go. He becomes a Hall of Famer. Just give it some time. Understand that the Dallas Cowboys are one of the youngest teams in the NFL. I'm still not a fan of the coaching and all that, but understand this team has some growing pains to go through. We've got a lot of new pieces that are in there. 13-13 Denver and Kansas City. And it's going to take some time. But we keep this group of guys together, this core of guys, and keep adding a few pieces. For the next 3-4 years, we can be challenging for Super Bowls. And that's what you have to understand. I just don't understand the hate for Dak Prescott and all that. Here's what I do know. The last couple of seasons, we've done more winning than losing. We've played better than we've had in a long, long stretch from one year to the next. Did we have some ugly games last year? Sure. But I got to tell you, I guarantee you the Cleveland Browns would have died to have the last 2 seasons we've had. So don't, at the drop of a hat, just say, fire everybody, get rid of everybody, they suck. Support the team. Because when we go in there, I was happy as could be to see Dak kind of go, guys, quiet down. We want to make sure we get this in here. That's some noise was never a factor in Dallas before from any time that I've ever been there. So be patient. Enjoy the season. And let's see what we're going to see. At the end of the year, if we're not doing it, that's the time to go ahead and say we suck. That's the time to start saying, what are we going to do to get better? But right now, we're in a fight. We're in a fight for playoffs. And let's enjoy the ride there. Everybody who's been here, I want to thank you very much for being part of the Jobu Sports Report. I'll see you first thing in the morning with Don't Sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. Hope you have a great